Today I'm going to be going over 12 different ways to lower your cost per click in Google Ads. Now, a couple of notes before I get started. I'm going to be going between the old interface of Google Ads and the new interface of Google Ads. I have an old campaign I used as a tutorial, so I'm going to be going in this campaign just for a few of the different strategies, and then I'll also be using the new interface as well. So the other thing that I want to go over is you should not be mainly focused on lowering your average cost per click. Your main goal is to drive the most possible conversion value at the lowest cost. So if you have a keyword that has a high average cost per click, but it is driving you conversions, it has a good conversion rate, and your cost per conversion for that keyword or for that individual ad group is one of your better performing keywords, it's not something I would change. There are certain keywords that are going to have higher costs, and generally a keyword with higher costs means it has more competition because advertisers have seen success from that keyword. So what we're trying to do here is say, here is how to bring down that cost per click slightly, because if we can control our costs slightly for a large budget advertiser, it can help us drive more conversions throughout the month. Now, the very first strategy is to find low-cost keywords in the keyword planner and also use the keyword planner to know what the estimated costs are for the keywords you're going to be targeting. So one of the first things you can do is if you come over here to get search volume and forecasts, if you have a list of keywords, so I took a list of keywords that I had in my spreadsheet here for LinkedIn ads. So we're going to come back over here, paste all those keywords, and one of the things you can do is just take your existing keyword list and click on Get Search Volume and Forecast through the Google Keyword Planner. And then as we scroll down here, you can get an idea of the top of page bid, the low range, and the top of page bid, the high range. So basically getting a bid range of how much advertisers are bidding on some of these keywords. Now for LinkedIn ads keywords, very, very competitive. You can see very high bids. So if you're trying to target some of these keywords and you say, I want my cost per click to be $2 or less, it's probably just not going to be possible for certain keywords that you're targeting. So understanding how much keywords actually cost is a really important factor when you are creating campaigns, just so you can kind of go over your forecast data and have an idea of how much you're going to spend per click. Now, if we click on forecast after we enter our saved keywords, what we can do is click on all saved keywords, click on done, and we can go through this data here where they're going to say, here's our forecasting all keywords using this bid strategy, using this match type, and it's going to give us a forecast for the next month. And what you can do is say, okay, my average daily budget is going to be $150 for this campaign. So I have $150 for this campaign, and here is how much it's probably going to cost me with my $150 daily budget. Now this right here is saying we're going to get 9 conversions. Our estimated conversion rate, we can put, let's just say our estimated conversion rate is 3%. What it's going to say is we're going to spend around $4,500. We're going to get about 20 conversions. Our average cost per acquisition will be $230. So for $4,500, we can drive 657 clicks for $6.85. Now, this isn't perfect data, but it is going to give you a little bit more information about how much you can expect your costs are going to be per click and how many conversions you can drive based on your conversion rate and based on what your average daily budget is. Now, the forecast isn't perfect again, but it is something that you can definitely use. The other thing we can do is come into our keyword ideas, and let's just say, for example, we'll continue with our LinkedIn ads example. If I'm trying to target keywords like LinkedIn ads management and LinkedIn ads agency, so we'll just start with those 2 keywords and click on get results. What we can do here is just look at all of our keyword data. First, for the keywords that we're actually targeting, so the top of page bid low range shows the lower range of what advertisers have historically paid for a keyword's top of page bid. So that is based on these settings that we have up here. So basically what you're looking at is this is almost the minimum that you can expect to pay for per click for some of these different keywords that you're targeting. Sometimes you can get this keyword low or this bid lower and your overall cost lower, especially for keywords with a lot of average monthly searches. But what we're seeing here is for a lot of these keywords, very, very high average cost per click. So before you create your campaign, you should have an idea of, okay, this is 47 keyword ideas. If we go through and we'll just use it go by average monthly searches, basically the keywords with the most search volume, LinkedIn ads management, ads manager, advertising manager, ads agency, advertising agency, marketing agency, all of these keywords, there's not a ton of search volume here. So you're looking at around 15,000 monthly searches, and if we keep scrolling down, very, very high bids. So if you are targeting these keywords, you need to have an understanding of it is going to be expensive when I'm driving clicks to my website for these keywords. Now, can we get our advertising clicks at $10 or less? Probably if we target enough keywords and if we target broad match keywords and do a lot of testing, but This is one of the first places to start, is just understand what your keyword bids are going to be by using the Google Keyword Planner. Obviously, if you're in something, so the example I'm going to be using throughout this is going to be farmhouse goals, and it's specifically farmhouse decor, furniture, things like that. So if I come in here and we could either start with our website or start with keywords, we can get a good idea of how much our ads are going to cost for some of the keywords that we're bidding on. So let's use my entire website. And let's just say I only want to target keywords. For now, we'll just say target keywords that contain farmhouse. We'll click on apply. So that gives us a total of 511 keywords. We look by average monthly searches. You can see all of these different keywords here and our bid ranges. So these much lower, so 41 cents, 28 cents. So we could definitely get our cost per click very low for a campaign that targets keywords related to farmhouse decorations, farmhouse furniture, and things like that. So with all of that being said, the very first strategy is just first off, understanding keyword bids using the Google Keyword Planner, and then finding keywords that have lower cost per click averages here by using the Keyword Planner as well. So those are keywords that we can focus on specifically. Generally what you want to do is we can say, let's use keywords where the average monthly searches is greater than or equal to 500. So keywords with a good amount of search volume. And let's just say add filter, or honestly what we could do here is just look at the top of page bid, the low range, see what the most expensive keywords are and what the least expensive keywords are. Farmhouse TV stands with fireplace. That is a good long tail keyword, very specific. Much lower top of page bid, the low range here at 20 cents. Now the high range is a little bit higher, but what you can see is as we go through here, okay, coffee table farmhouse decor. Let me make sure I have a good landing page for that. Let's drive traffic to our website for this and try to sell people on different decorations for their coffee table. So these are a lot of different keywords that we can target. And what you're trying to do is find high search volume keywords with low cost per click bids. So that is strategy number one. For strategy number two, we're going to come back over to our campaign. And number two is going to be to target either broad match keywords or phrase match keywords. And here is the main difference between broad match and phrase match keywords. Now, first and foremost, exact match is the other keyword type. It's going to give you the most relevancy, but generally exact match keywords are going to be the most expensive option. Now, you can still target exact match keywords, and it's always a best practice to test, especially if your main goal is conversions, which it should be. So you can still target exact match keywords, but generally what I find is in terms of finding the best overall performance, volume, and just making sure we are getting really relevant results, phrase match keywords tend to be really good for me. And if we click here to come into this ad group, you can see I'm targeting one phrase match keyword here. If we come over here to our search terms, you can see my search terms are very relevant. So farmhouse curtains for living room style curtains. If we come down here, the actual keywords or the search terms that are driving clicks for this campaign tend to be really relevant. With broad match keywords, you can get lower cost per clicks with broad match keywords. However, it is going to have more irrelevant keywords in the search terms report. I recommend broad match keywords for larger budget advertisers who want to do a lot of testing, who want to add a lot of negative keywords, and who are using conversion tracking and making sure that everything is geared towards conversion value. So what you can do for strategy number two is when you are targeting your search keywords, use a phrase match keyword to get started, or if you want to do a little bit more testing and you're not worried about having some irrelevant keywords and keywords that aren't as targeted, use broad match as your match type as well. Exact match can tend to be more expensive. Google Ads does recommend broad match, but it does require a lot of testing. If you're using broad match, you must be using conversion tracking and a smart bidding strategy. So that is strategy number two. And speaking of smart bidding strategies, strategy number three is going to be to use target CPA or target return on ad spend as your bidding strategy. The reason being is if we come over here to tools and settings, shared library, and what we do is we click on bid strategies here, it's going to open up portfolio bid strategies. So we can apply these bid strategies to multiple campaigns, but one of the things that you can do is with target CPA and target return on ad spend, you're essentially telling Google, I want you to set bids to get me the most possible conversion value while trying to maintain my target return on ad spend. Target cost per acquisition, same exact thing, setting bids to get the most conversions possible. The reason why I prefer to use these bid strategies, and you can use maximize conversions or maximize conversion value, but with target return on ad spend, if I apply this to my campaign, I can say I'm telling Google Ads, I'm spending $150 per day, and I want my target return on ad spend to be 300%. So what Google Ads is going to do is they're going to test our campaign, and if they can't reach that target return on ad spend, they're not just going to spend an excess amount of money to make sure that they're trying to either maximize conversion value or maximize conversion. So testing bid strategies is a best practice, but with target return on ad spend, target CPA, you're essentially giving Google Ads more of a cost control, saying, I want to drive leads, and I want my leads to come in at $75 or less, because every lead is worth $125 to my business. So if I'm driving leads at way too expensive of a cost, I don't want you to spend an excess amount of my budget to make sure that I'm just driving leads for the purpose of driving leads. I want my leads to actually be valuable. And that will bring us right into strategy number 4. So with target CPA is another reason why I like using target CPA and target return on ad spend bid strategies. Not only can you set this cost control, under advanced options when you're setting a portfolio bid strategy, you can set a maximum bid limit. So if you come over here and say, I need my bids to be less than $2.50 in order to make this a profitable campaign, then you can set a maximum bid limit. Keep in mind that setting maximum bid limits will exclude you from certain auctions where you just literally do not have the bid to compete in that auction. So when we're looking at all those LinkedIn ads keywords from before where the bids are between $15 and $50, you're generally, if you set a maximum CPC bid limit like this, you're generally not just going to enter most of those auctions. But with target CPA, you can set this as a cost control and this as a cost control, and you can do the same thing with target return on ad spend. If we come over here to target return on ad spend, you can say I need a 300% target return on ad spend, and under here my maximum bid limit will just say $2.50 again. Gives you a little bit more cost controls, and rather than saying I need to use maximum CPC bids, you're basically telling Google Ads, I want you to achieve this using this bid limit based on all of my targeting settings. So that is going to be strategy number 4. Strategy number 5, we're going to come back over to the new Google Ads interface, and we have this campaign here. There's only 2 ad groups in this campaign. Now, a best practice is adding as many ad groups as possible that you have basically any type of category or any landing page where you're sending traffic to, you want to set up a separate ad group for that. So when I go through all of my different product categories on my website where I'm selling Montessori toys, basically what I would want to do is say, okay, I have 50 different subcategories of Montessori toys. I have Montessori math toys and wooden toys and blocks and this and that. All of those should be separate ad groups. Now, what that does is it allows you to test all of those different ad groups and see what actual keywords and ad groups are performing the best for us. The other thing that we can do, and this is really going to be our main strategy, is creating organized campaigns where we have an ad group with very targeted keywords. And you can see I have my one keyword here. One thing about keyword match types, don't target multiple keyword match types in the same ad group. Either target broad match or phrase match or exact match. So that is my best practice there. In this case, I have the broad match keyword enabled. You can add those other keywords and just pause them and then test them over time. But we have our broad match keyword here. So we're targeting this keyword. Now, if we come back to our campaign really quick and we open up our ad groups for our campaign, you can see I have these 2 different ad groups. The other ad group, you can see very relevant keyword, both of these broad match keywords, busy board toy, Montessori busy boards. Now, the other thing is within this ad group, if we come over here to my ads, you can see I have multiple ads, and the ads are geared towards exactly what my keywords are targeting. So you want very relevant ads, you want them to match what your keywords are targeting, and then you want to send people to very relevant landing pages. So in this case, people are being sent directly to my product category where I'm selling Montessori busy boards for sale. That is a best practice to keep your cost per click as low as possible because it helps improve your overall campaign organization is going to make sure that you are getting the lowest possible cost per clicks that you possibly can. If you have a very unorganized campaigns and you don't group together your ad groups within different themes, your ads are not always relevant, your landing pages aren't always relevant, it's going to hurt your bids in the long term and hurt your overall costs because you're going to be bidding higher because your campaign is not organized, because your ad strength is not as strong as some of your competitors, your ad relevancy isn't as strong as some of your competitors, your landing pages aren't as strong as some of your competitors. So essentially, you're going to be bidding higher than your competitors would be because you don't have an organized campaign. Next is going to be strategy number 6, and this is going to be a very, very simple one. Create multiple ads per ad group. So within your search campaigns, you're creating responsive search ads. Now, responsive search ads can still test a lot because you can add 15 different headlines, 4 description lines. However, there's nothing wrong with creating multiple responsive search ads in your ad groups. You can create up to 3. If you have 2 different responsive search ads, it basically gives you 30 different headlines to test, 8 different description lines, and a ton of different ad combinations that Google Ads can consistently test. So what you want to do is create multiple responsive search ads per ad group. And when you are creating your responsive search ads, you want to create ads that have an excellent ad strength. Now, this is not used within the auction. This is basically just feedback to you. But if your ad strength is average or worse, then generally what you can say is, okay, I can probably improve this advertisement. So you want to make sure you have good ad strength because it's just going to help with the overall performance of your campaign. Okay, our next strategy to continue on our overall ads is using all relevant assets and adding relevant assets to the ad group level as well. So you should definitely have site links at the campaign level. You should have call out assets. You should have structured snippet assets. Now, assets were previously referred to as ad extensions, so you'll still see them referred to as ad extensions sometimes, but you want to use all relevant assets that will enhance your advertisement and help with the overall objective of your campaign. Are you trying to drive phone calls? Add call assets. Do you want to drive leads with your campaign? Add a lead form. Do you have a physical business location? Add a location. All of these different assets should be used as long as you can give them a good reason to be used within your advertisements. So if you have specific prices for some of your services or for some of your products, you can add price assets. If you have a mobile app, you can add that as an asset on mobile devices, a promotion asset if you're running a limited time promotion. So use all of these different assets because it's only going to improve your overall ad strength. Okay, next we're going to come back over to the other version of Google Ads here. So we're back in our Farmhouse Goals account. And for this one, what you want to do is find keywords that you are spending a lot of money on that have high average cost per clicks. And what you want to do is you can look at the search terms report for specific keywords, or what you can also do is just look at the search terms report for your overall campaign. So finding high average cost per click keywords that you're bidding on that are not driving conversion. So as we come over here to our conversion data, you're going to be looking for keywords that have a high cost per conversion. And then the other thing that you want to do is look at the search terms report, because the search terms report will give you different ideas as far as negative keywords that you should add, and then also specific search terms that have a very high cost per conversion. So you may see something like this where, okay, we're spending a decent amount on this keyword. It's not converting as well as some of these other keywords here, so it has a lower average conversion rate. It has a higher average cost per conversion. Now, I don't have a ton of data for this campaign, so you may spend this much in a day and get this much data in a day. So the more you spend, the more data you actually have. But if you start to see, okay, we're getting a good amount of clicks on some of these different keywords or these different search terms here, and they are not driving a very good overall in terms of cost per conversion or in terms of conversion rate. So this right here where we have just the search term farmhouse curtains, we have a high average cost. Now in this one example, we were targeting the exact match keyword. So we had a higher cost for that keyword, and since we had the higher cost, we didn't drive as many conversions, and we have a very high cost per conversion. So basically, don't target the exact match version of this, but use the search terms report to find negative keyword ideas. Use negative keywords not only for keywords that are not converting, but for more expensive keywords that are not leading to a good cost per conversion for your campaign. So use that keyword data to improve your overall average cost per click. And really what you want to do is focus on keywords that may have high average cost per click, as we can see here, but really keywords that may have a higher average cost per click leading to a higher cost per conversion. So that is going to be that strategy. Next is going to be using competitor analysis tools and looking at the actual keywords that your competitors are targeting. So we're just going to use Nike.com as an example here, but you can enter any of your competitors and you can actually see the keywords that they're targeting. And what I did in this case is I took all of Nike.com's PPC keywords with a volume between 100 and 10,000 with a cost per click of $1 or less. And what you want to do is you want to find keywords that have a good search volume and a low cost per click that would actually be relevant for your campaign. So as we scroll down here, you're looking for, okay, something like toddler shoes, high search volume, not the highest average cost per click. This is something we can potentially target with our campaign. Now, if you're targeting Nike keywords, then you can also come through here and look for specific Nike keywords that have a high search volume, low average cost per click. Now, this cost per click here is, as we come to the top, is going to be the broad match data, and it's the average amount an advertiser pays Google anytime someone clicks their ad on this keyword. This is not based on specifically Nike.com. It's based on the broad match keyword that is listed here and the average cost per click for that keyword. This data is not perfect. This is spyfu.com if you want to use spyfu. You could also use SEMrush and basically just look through the keywords that your competitors are bidding on. The keywords that they are bidding on the most are generally the keywords that are driving them the most value. So those are the ones you want to focus on first. But then you can also find some hidden gems within their reports, seeing, okay, they're targeting some type of, for example, for farmhouse goals, I could say, okay, they're targeting rustic coffee table decor, a very low cost per click. So we're going to add it to our campaign and see if we can take advantage of that within our existing ads. Okay, next we come back to our new Google Ads interface, and what you want to do is use remarketing audiences and use your data segments within your campaigns to get you the best possible results. Use customer lists when you are creating audiences. All of that is going to help with your overall campaign performance. Even if you have higher cost per click bids for some of these different audiences, they tend to perform the best because they previously interacted with your business. So if we come over here to tools, we're in the new Google Ads experience, and we come down here to shared library and we go to audience manager. You can find this in the old interface of Google Ads as well, just going to your tools and settings and shared library, you'll see audience manager. And what we can do is we're just going to quickly click on the plus sign here. All of these, if they are relevant for your business, should be used within your advertising. Now, if your main goal is just completely new customer acquisition, you can also take your customer list and use them as a negative audience. So you can use these in different ways, but basically, if you have a lot of website visitors, use them within your targeting. If you have a mobile app with a lot of users, use them within your targeting. You have a YouTube channel, use that within your targeting, and upload your customer lists as well, because those are going to be people that are the most connected to your business. You can create other audiences based on your customer list. So using remarketing will only improve campaign performance, and even if it doesn't specifically lower your cost per click bids, it's not as bad spending more money on audiences that are going to be much more likely to convert. So for this strategy, use all of your data segments that you possibly can, whether you're using them with your targeting or as an exclusion. Our next strategy is going to be to find the budget that maximizes your return on ad spend. And basically what this one is I've had advertisers who say, I need to spend this much per month. And sometimes advertisers say, I need to spend $10,000 per month to help scale my brand. Basically what can happen is you don't have enough targeting there to actually drive a profitable campaign at your current budget levels. So what you're trying to find is what the ideal average daily budget is to drive you the best possible results. So if we come over here to our forecast data and we're using our same example before where we're targeting the United States with a bunch of different LinkedIn ads keywords, what you can do is if you go over here to cost, you can actually move this up and down and say, okay, what if my average daily budget is $2,000? My plan's going to get 46 conversions, an average cost per acquisition of $1,300. Large costs, not a lot of clicks. Our average cost per click is now $38. Okay, let's lower this very low. Let's say our average daily budget is going to be $50, for example. So what this is going to say, our plan is going to get 14 conversions, a $100 average cost per acquisition. So our cost $1,500. Much lower average cost per click. But basically what you can see is as you go through this data, you can say, you know what, our average daily budget should probably be somewhere around, to maximize our results, something like $250. And this is something you're going to have to test. So when we come back over here to our campaign screen, what you want to do is find the best possible budget. Now, it's not a best practice to change your budget all the time, but let's just say, for example, we set a $50 budget. It's saying we're not going to be charged more than $1,050 for this campaign. If we're seeing really ideal results, start scaling your budget upwards. It doesn't mean go from $50 a day to $500 per day. Now, if you think you can get the performance with it, that's perfectly fine. But generally what I'll do is, based on what the budget is, something like $50 per day, I would increase it to $75 per day and then review the overall campaign performance. I generally give things at least a few days to run, generally a week or multiple weeks. And then what you can do is always scale that budget upwards. Same with scaling the budget down. So as we come over here to our forecast data, you may find, okay, the best daily budget is going to be something a little bit less than this, so we can get our average cost per acquisition down, because our average cost per acquisition needs to be under $200. So we need to drive conversions at under $200, and it'll keep our costs down, and it will drive us the best possible results. And you'll see that your average cost per click can actually increase as you increase your average daily budget, and it can decrease as you lower your average daily budget. But basically, you should always be focused on your cost per acquisition or your overall return on ad spend. Now, last but not least is getting a little more granular and really focusing your ads on when they're showing and the locations they're showing and seeing if you can get any performance insights from that data. So if you go to your insights and reports, when and where ads showed, when you click on when ads showed, you may find that your ads perform the best from Monday through Friday, your ads perform the best from Wednesday through Sunday. So if you can find that data, then what you can do is actually set up an ad schedule and make it set for the periods that actually perform the best for your campaign. You do need a lot of data to actually use this, so if you have a larger budget, you have a long history of data, look at when ads showed and see if there are any specific hours that may drag down your campaign or specific days that may drag down your campaign. The other thing you can do as we come down here and we're looking at our audiences, keywords, and content is going to your locations. You'll see ad schedule down here. There's also advanced bid adjustments, so that's something you could also try. But if you are seeing that, okay, specific locations are performing better for us, you can add those locations here and then bid higher as you add those locations. So if we say, you know what, the Dallas market is doing really well for us, we will target the Dallas market. We're going to click on save. And what we're going to do within the Dallas market is we are going to do a bid adjustment of increasing by 20% so that we can actually get more clicks from this market because it's worth it because they're driving so many conversions for our campaign. So those are 12 different ways to lower your average cost per click. At the end of the day, you really want to be focused on conversion data, but average cost per click can still be an important statistic because if we can lower costs, especially if we're driving a ton of clicks every day, then what we can do is really focus on getting that cost per conversion down over time. So if you have any questions about any of this, please leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.